The woman in the salt-stained coat tries not to let her hand drift to the loaded pistol at her hip. Captain's orders. Intimidation through presence, not violence. At least not yet. Marina has been running blockades long enough to know the game. The difference between a naval officer and a smuggler, her old mentor used to say, is that a smuggler will sink your ship and take your cargo, while the officer will have someone else do it and call it law. What he never mentioned was that a smuggling lord will order the sinking and not even split the take. Something about not crossing the maritime guilds. Either way, she's here as muscle for Captain Voss, and she's content with that role. Voss is a careful former guild officer turned independent, now trying to re-establish their network's shipping routes through deep water port after the previous operation got rolled up by the authorities. There's whispers about some baron being involved in the crackdown, but that's politics, and Marina prefers to keep things simple. Show up, look dangerous, collect her cut. Which is why she keeps her hand away from her pistol. Voss is playing merchant captain to nightcoat fine but practical, weathered enough to suggest real sea time. The crew looks rougher than typical merchant sailors, but that's expected for ships that travel the contested waters. The harbor guard at the gate doesn't look convinced for a second. A merchant requesting a late-night meeting at the Harbormaster's private residence is suspicious as hell, but apparently Harbormaster Chen was expecting them. The guard doesn't even try to confiscate their weapons. Probably wise. That always gets messy. A dark-skinned servant appears to guide them through the coastal manor to a dining room with windows overlooking the bay. The young harbormaster is already seated, and Marina had heard he was supposed to be easy to manipulate, but something about his posture feels wrong. Too comfortable. Too controlled. He doesn't even stand to greet them. Welcome, captains and crew. Please, sit. My cook prepared a traditional fisherman's feast. I imagine you haven't had a proper meal since making port. Voss subtly gestures to the crew, who spread around the long table. Marina notices a place setting at the far end with no chair, but Voss ignores it and takes a seat closer to Chen. Harbormaster Chen, generous of you to receive us. We have business to discuss. The young harbormaster's smile shows too many teeth, and he touches the coral pin on his collar. Indeed, after your predecessors? Unfortunate legal troubles. I believe the terms of port access need renegotiation. As do I, though I suspect we're negotiating in different directions. Chen's smile widens. You're perceptive, Captain. And I believe I'm the one with leverage, having provided testimony that ended your organization's previous operation here. Marina samples the fish. Soup placed before her surprisingly good for what she expected. Even Voss takes time to finish his bowl before responding. That very testimony gives us cause to demand compensation for lost revenue. Chen laughs, shaking his head. Self-defense, Captain Voss. Your predecessor was trafficking children alongside the usual contraband. When I reported to the Baron, I was doing my duty. If you press the issue, you're suggesting your organization condones that trade. I doubt your remaining partners would appreciate that attention. Marina suppresses a grimace. She'd heard whispers about what got the previous captain arrested, but having it confirmed makes her stomach turn. Some lines you don't cross. Still, we lost significant investment when the warehouse was seized. Then invest more wisely. I never guaranteed your profits. Chen's voice turns to iron, leaving no room for argument. You understand this may strain future cooperation. Ah, you assume I want cooperation. The smugglers go still. Marina's hand drifts toward her pistol. Has Chen lost his mind? Taking down one captain doesn't mean he can challenge the whole network. The servants clear the soup and present steamed crabs. Voss cracks one open carefully. You seem to think cooperation is optional. Chen smirks. I understand reality, Captain. That doesn't mean I accept it willingly. Any cooperation will be minimal and strictly regulated. Then you'll accept the previous arrangement? Standard protection payments for blind eyes? Absolutely not. Captain Reese had far too much freedom. I won't repeat that mistake. Voss sighs and pushes away his empty plate. You're making a different mistake then. I don't see any guards in this room. Chen smiles. You see what I permit you to see. He makes a subtle gesture, and suddenly the lanterns around the room dim as if salt spray has covered them. The room doesn't go dark, but the atmosphere shifts, lit now mainly by moonlight through the windows and a few flickering candles. Darkness, Harbormaster? A bit theatrical for. Voss stops as a low, resonant sound echoes through the room. Not quite a horn, not quite a song. Something deeper, primal. The water in their glasses ripples in perfect concentric circles. The hanging lanterns sway despite no wind. Marina stands, hand on her pistol now, searching for the source. Her eyes catch movement outside the large bay windows, something massive passing beneath the surface, blocking the moonlight from below. Ah, my other guests have arrived. I would have waited dinner for them, but they have specific dietary requirements. Before Voss can demand answers, one of the windows simply flows open, no breaking glass, no creaking hinges. The frame itself seems to become water, reforming around what emerges from the depths. Leviathan, Marina breathes as it enters. Not a true leviathan of legend, but something close. Serpentine, covered in barnacles and ancient scars. Easily 40 feet of coiled power that should not fit through any door or window, yet somehow flows through like water through water. It regards the smugglers with eyes older than their grandparents, then casually winds its way to that empty place at the table's end. Marina doesn't move as its massive form passes within arm's reach. Her pistol would be useful as throwing it at the thing and running. Apologies for our tardiness. Comes a voice that sounds like it's coming from inside Marina's own skull. Several crew members jump. The voice offers no excuse, and the serpent simply lowers its ancient head until it rests on the polished floor, eyes still level with the table's surface. Then a small octopus, no bigger than Marina's fist, crawls down from the creature's head and settles itself before the empty plate, its tentacles arranging themselves with unsettling deliberacy. What kind of Voss starts, but stops as pressure descends on the room. Not physical weight, but something that makes breathing harder, makes thinking slower. The octopus's eyes glow with bioluminescent blue-green light, its tentacles leaving trails of phosphorescence as it regards each smuggler in turn. The only farce here is your presumption. You may negotiate with Chen, is the Harbormaster, but I bring terms from the deep court. After your predecessors' indiscretions, the Lord of Tides takes a dim view of your network. Cross those lines again, and the only negotiation will be with the depths. The pressure eases as a servant places a plate of raw shellfish before the octopus. Only when it begins eating does the atmosphere become breathable again. You declare war on the entire smuggling network. Voss demands only to grunt as the pressure returns, focus solely on him. You misunderstand entirely. It wouldn't be war. I'm merely an emissary, not even ranked among the Deep Court's champions. You breathe, only because I permit it. And since your predecessor was dangerously ignorant, the Lord of Tides is ancient, territorial, and takes personal offense when mortals harm children in his waters. Everyone in Deepwater Port is under his protection now. The pressure lifts. Voss's face flushes with anger. Marina! A wet, cold hand rests on Marina's shoulder, and every instinct screams at her not to turn around. She can feel the water dripping onto her coat from something that absolutely was not behind her a moment ago. A wise choice, Miss Kell, whispers a voice like waves over rocks. Marina slowly removes her hand from her pistol, her heart hammering. Nobody's used their full name since she joined this crew. Voss's anger evaporates as the other smugglers realize they're surrounded by things that shouldn't exist. Chen smiles. I'm glad we understand each other. While I can't stop all smuggling, that would be foolish, I won't permit the freedom your organization once enjoyed. My priority, and the Lord of Tides' priority, is the safety of everyone who lives by these waters. Voss frowns. The Lord of Tides? You'd swear loyalty to some sea myth? Chen's smile grows. I still serve the Baron and the Crown, but my soul belongs to the tides. The ocean has changed itself, Captain. Will you adapt to the new currents, or will you drown fighting them? The weight of those words, combined with the glowing eyes of the octopus, makes the picture clear. If this creature represents something older than kingdoms, Marina looks to Voss, watching her captain struggle to maintain composure and failing. This is why she's glad she's just muscle. If she shoots the wrong person, the consequences are hers alone. When a captain makes the wrong call, everyone drowns. I need to consult with my partners. Perhaps we can find mutually acceptable terms. Chen nods, gesturing to servants who bring in the main course, some kind of fish that definitely didn't come from local waters. Acceptable. I'm sure nothing went as you planned tonight. For now, let's enjoy the meal. My companions and I caught this deep water grinner ourselves. Nasty things to hunt, but excellent eating. Deepwater grinner? Marina asks before she can stop herself. The octopus speaks again, the pressure absent from its voice now. One of the larger predators from the abyssal shelf usually takes an experienced crew with harpoon cannons to bring one up. A low groaning call echoes from outside the windows, and Marina sees multiple serpentine forms rising from the dark water, each easily as large as the one in the room. Their bioluminescent patterns light up the bay like an underwater constellation. Chen doesn't even glance up from his plate. Please, eat. There's plenty more where this came from.